Hey everyone, Sean Smith here with Dedicated Financial GBC in Roseville, Minnesota. I'm the founder and CEO here with Jon Jensen, our new business development manager. How you doing, Jon?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
And Hugh, why don't you just start out? We're going to jump right into it. Just want everyone to get to know Jon. You'll be seeing him out some of the National Equipment Finance Association, maybe the Equipment Leasing Finance Association, maybe at DeBanked or the Funders Forum, things like that. So AACFB is coming up soon.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'm going to be heading down there.
He'll be flying out tomorrow. Now, you'll be seeing this by the time this is out. You'll have already been there. So,
True.
But if anything, why don't you just share your background and what brings you to this new role?
Yeah, so 15, I started working in basically the service industry, and I've mostly done that with some nonprofit stuff kind of over the years, whether it's bartending, managing bars, whether it's been working for, Bridging or some other nonprofits like International, where I was doing stuff, taking teams to other countries. So kind of been doing more of that, and what I found was there's a lot of sales in it. There's a lot of interpersonal, which is really all sales is at the end of the day, is connecting with people, finding out what their needs and when supplying that need, right? So it's a slightly different transition, but it's been a long time coming, I think, to move towards something more like this.
Yeah, and I think that there's a key point in that there is that, when you're developing a relationship and ultimately business for a company, you're going out, you're figuring out what the needs are and then how you can meet those needs. And that's a lot different to me than sales. It ultimately leads to sales, but it's putting the most important thing first, which is finding their needs. So love to hear that. Although I will say that, the bartending and servicing industry and the nonprofit working in Bridging and doing international things, those are not normally two things that go together.
No, those are typically a little bit more separate. I grew up as a Christian and did lots of missions trip even as a kid, and always had kind of that heart for some of that, to steal our phrase, people over profit, even before getting here, where that's kind of one of our mantras almost.
Yeah, and so, glad to have you. And I think, Jon was someone when he started off as a collector and a workout specialist and really utilized that talent of being able to connect with people. There was a lot of transferable skills that we knew that you had, and it was, nice that worked out really well, and he's done great as a collector, which the nice thing is now, you have several years of experience working in the product, working with merchants, working with small business. So I'd love for you, though, when you were looking at coming to Dedicated, because you were successful, your wife's working in the nonprofit industry at the time as well, what brought you to Dedicated? And then I would add a second to that, what got you really excited about now transitioning? So first, what initially brought you to Dedicated, and then what got you excited transitioning into business development?
Realistically speaking, we're looking for more stability. Financially, sure, but also hours. We had started our family. We had our first son already. We knew we had another one kind of on the way. And we were in that position where we're saying, it's getting harder and harder for me personally to be working until 4 or 5 in the morning cleaning up a bar, and then coming home, napping, hanging out with the kids. Working our schedules so that we always had coverage and we were actually, helping our kids thrive rather than just being like, don't die. So getting
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's important.
Children don't
That's
die.
Step one, but then there's other stuff that comes after.
Step 2, thrive.
Right, yeah. So getting to come place that has more stability, is surrounded by, working a day job, really. That was a big part of what led me to start looking. And just through some connections, found out Dedicated was expanding and growing again, and I was looking to hire more collectors. So, I came and interviewed, and it was a good thing to get to hop into at a good time.
Now that you've been at Dedicated for a while, you've really gotten into the culture. You've gone to our serving events. You've been in the daily grind of it, which can be challenging. What, in your opinion, makes Dedicated different from your perspective?
I alluded to it earlier. Obviously, people over profit informs pretty much everything that Dedicated is going to do. It's I don't want to say like zealotry, obviously, because that's some negative connotations. But when you have a company that is dedicated to doing things.
Pun intended.
100% intended. To doing things that are more than just profit. The goals of Dedicated, the culture of Dedicated, are designed towards feeding millions and millions of children, towards continuing to grow. Whether it's working with Close for Mothers, Create Minneapolis, we just had out. Whether it's working with, I think we've got, and then Good Works coming up here.
And Good Works, yep.
And tons and tons of others. When you're doing that, I think not only are you going to perform better for your actual clients, because there's more to it than just, am I comfortable enough with the amount of money I'm making, right? It's, am we comfortable, our needs met, are we doing a job for you? How can we do a better job for you so we can do a better job going forwards for all of these other things? I think that really separates it apart. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it threads its way through and creates a culture where everybody's on the same page. Everybody's pulling together. One of your favorite phrases, all ships rise. Mm-hmm. I think is really true here. I've seen, collections. I'm relatively, I've had a couple of years now in it, but I didn't spend some time at some other agencies like some of the other collectors mm-hmm. here. But I've talked to some people that have, and the level of cooperation that we have here between every collector from my first day here to then, hopefully reciprocating that with new collectors as they come on, sitting down, asking questions, people taking time out, of their day to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to get my accounts done, but I'm going to help you as well. Yep. That's huge.
Yeah, and a lot of other agencies, there's a competitive nature. If I help you and you do better, I don't get access to as many accounts. I don't do as better, and that's the mission has always come first here. And you see that in situations where in any other environment, you're a competitor. If I help you, I'm hurting me. Versus the mission is the most important thing, and the more I help you, the more I help the mission. Mm-hmm. As a final thing for at least this part one, what would you say is one thing maybe people wouldn't know about you?
One thing that people wouldn't know about me? Some people would know, but maybe it's about 15 years ago now, so it's not as current, I guess. Right after high school, I took myself and moved to New Zealand on a work visa. Didn't know anybody. Just traveled around working. Living in hostels, hitchhiking, living on beaches, and kind of just meeting, different culture. At the time, a lot of people knew about it, but it's been a long enough time that maybe not.
I didn't know that.
Remember? There you go.
Are you now a fan of the All Blacks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was there actually during the All Rugby, and it was bad. I remember we lost, and it was the first time I think that I'd really seen. Because sports culture is different here. I mean, you might get some Eagles fans crying or some, but grown men crying in the streets because they got knocked out in an early round after leading the whole time mm-hmm. and being seeded so high and being expected to just win the whole thing was everywhere.
There's a great book out there called Legacy, and it's about the All Blacks. And I just remember the first chapter of it is called Sweep the Shed. And one of the things the All Blacks are known for is they leave locker rooms, even when they go somewhere else, cleaner than they found it. And the point is they're actually the most winningest team in sports history. You wouldn't know that if you're not a big rugby fan. But I try to institute that same philosophy where we're going to clean the office every week. We're going to care about our office, how clean it is, how well we take care of the things that we've been blessed to be able to utilize. And it comes from that book and that team. So
that's cool.
Well, hey, again, welcome to a new phase.
Absolutely.
Again, not really welcome to the team now. It's been a couple of years, but welcome to this new phase. Excited to see what you can do. I know you have great mentorship outside of Dedicated as well as inside of Dedicated. So look for Jon out there on the circuit for those other road warrior business development folks. And just know that Jon knows his stuff. He's been in the trenches. He's going to know the nuances of what makes Dedicated different and what issues you maybe have going on that we can help with. So proud to have you on the team. Proud to have you moving into this new role. So congrats.
Thank you. I'm excited to meet everybody out there at some of these conferences coming up.
So as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting. Again, I can't go to a conference without so many of you coming up and talking to us about what we do on social media, the giving back, the for-purpose, mission-driven business. And when you like, when you subscribe, when you share, when you comment on things like this, it only drives up that algorithm so we can talk more about the for-purpose side of business and how we can leverage business really to change the world. So thank you guys as always, and God bless.